Once again, everybody, welcome to Week 3 of NFL Primetime. You roll baseball out, you roll football in, literally. Hi, I'm Chris Berman, along with Tom Jackson and Stuart Scott. And a day that we can only draw a couple of conclusions from, and I guess we will draw a very interesting conclusion. There are a couple that we can't draw quite yet, but then again, we only pass finger painting in art, not drawing. Well, with Tampa Bay and Minnesota atop the NFC North division, and of course the Green Bay Packers, the defending champions, the soft underbelly of the North, if you will, falls to the Lions and the Bears. Each team had their work cut out for them today. The Bears at home were trying to get either Eric Kramer or, later on, Rick Meyer, their quarterback, on track. The Lions were trying to get the pitter-patter feet of Barry Sanders going again. Who do you think had a better chance? You're right. This man, Barry Sanders, 53 yards his first 2 games. He almost picks that up on one of his first carries, a 14-yard pickup. Same drive, 3rd down. Sanders dances around Marty Carter, and like so many others, makes him miss his 1st down. Same drive, Sanders around Walt Harris to the corner, gains 11 yards. And then Tommy, he follows Watt. Look at this hole.
Yeah, Corey Schlesinger right there. Look at him pin the defender inside. Barry Sanders spots the hole, does a nice job of kicking back inside, gets everything you can out of that run. I think he knows a little bit about running behind the blocker.
Yeah, he's not sure that he gets holes like that often. Here he goes around the left side. Hard hit from Barry Minter from behind, but it's an 18-yard pickup. First half, 102. So he doubled his first 2 games just about in the first half. As for the Bears, Stephen Boyd fights off tackles, and a bad hit here on Rashaan Salam. Not a bad as an illegal hit, but just a tough hit on Salam. Dave Wannstedt finds out Salam, broken right fibula, looks like gone for the year. Lions played some defense today, Tommy.
Yeah, Robert Forche here working against Jennings, the tight end, and the tackle as well. Does a good job of fighting through and making a play on Raymond Harris.
Eric Kramer back to pass. He's hit by Reggie Brown at his banner, and Kerwin Waldrop picks it up. Next Bears possession. No time to wallow in the mire. They bring in Rick Meyer, and as Kramer watches from the sidelines, watch this on 4th down. You got to at least get the snap. Excedrin headache number 45 for Dave Wannstedt. Lions put it away. Who else? Sanders outside. Going to pick up more yards than his 21 because of the face mask. Next play, Scott Mitchell did throw a pair today. 27 yards to Herman's Moore. The Lions roll. We've been waiting for this. And the Lions roll the Bears, who had played well in their division games early on, but not today. The Bears fall to 0-3 as Detroit wins it by the count of 32-7. 161 yards for Barry Sanders. Raymond Harris did have 73 in the game to continue his fine start for the Bears, but all of a sudden they find themselves in the bottom of the division at 0-3, Tommy. And they have some problems, obviously. Obviously they're not as talented as a Green Bay Packer team, but they've got some problems that's going to be hard for Dave Wannstedt to address this year.
Well, he's dealing with a speed problem, lack thereof, with his wide receivers. Ricky Pro, Bobby Ingram, outstanding athletes, but he lost Curtis Conway, who was the guy who was going to stretch the field for him. I'm talking about Coach Wannstedt. The defense, in terms of the safety and the corners, begin to creep up, play a little bit closer to the line, and 2 yards can make a world of difference. The Chicago Bears went into this weekend, and we haven't obviously checked the stats from this game yet, but went into this weekend averaging less than 10 yards per completion, and all we know, Chris, is that that's not good.
It's not good, and now they don't have Salam, and now they're looking at the bottom up, and neither quarterback has really been very effective.
Rough schedule as well.
Yes, they do have a rough schedule coming up next couple games. Well, when we return, hey, a new home, maybe a new start for Michael Westbrook as the Redskins try to beat the Cards. And who needs a new start? Tampa Bay likes the start they have.
Come from the small cities and big farms, leaving behind their egos and their innocence, bringing only their speed, their dreams, and perhaps a small fire extinguisher. For the sweat and the heat and the pain of Joe Ball, Coors Light salutes the guys of the gridiron. Men who know that when you're about to burst into flames, there's only one beer capable of cooling down that burning thirst. Frost brewed Coors Light.
This is Mad 98 talking Smart D. Who do you love, Coach?
Guys who can sniff out a quarterback.
Yeah, zoning, dropping, snorting out the scent of fear.
The greats have good smellers on them. And boom, they act like a unit.
Liquid D, baby.
You have the sniffer, you have the smeller, then you go get what you just smelled, and this way you have that smeller for
You can run, but the hoons they'll find you. Light 'em up, people. We're talking trains with brains. Madden NFL 98, the ultimate judge. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Hang 10 in the 132 horsepower, 16-valve overhead cam, 4-wheel independent suspension, cab forward, gnarly Dodge Neon Coupe. Dude, say hello to Dodge Neon at your friendly Dodge dealer.
I needed a little tune-up before heading to camp, so I decided to look up some of the fastest guys in the game, thinking we could run some drills.
Gee, Mr. Naaman, I'm sure my dad would love to come over and play.
But it would just be two-hand touch, right?
Wow, you're still alive?
Unfortunately, I couldn't find any of their numbers. So I put on my new low-to-the-ground Zoom Air shoes and went out back with some of the neighborhood kids.
No, not again!
Still got a few bullets left in the old gun.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime. For years, we reveled in the games at RFK Stadium. But today, when the Cardinals visited the Redskins, they were not at the place where the stands literally rock. They were 5 miles away from RFK in their brand new home in Landover, Maryland, Jack Kent Cooke Stadium, the largest outdoor stadium in the NFL, over 80,000 seats. And there's a view. Redskins leading 3-0 in the first quarter. Matt Turk to punt, but he's not going to punt it very far. J.J. McCleskey blocks the punt. Tommy Bennett leaves his heart at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. He falls on it for a touchdown, 7-3 cards. Matt Turk, his brother Dan Turk, punted to him and said, wait, let's look at the picture. This is not a family picture. Second quarter, Gus Frerotte to Michael Westbrook. First TD of the year, 10-7 skins at the half. That combination tried to hook up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and you see Westbrook here going for the ball. Ty Howard does a job of covering him well, but never turns around, then grabs him by the shoulder, and he draws the interference penalty.
So it's a 10-10 game, Tommy. Terry Allen playing with a broken thumb. Stopped by the Cardinal defense, who are coming off the biggest win maybe in Arizona history. Frerotte on second down cannot get in. Third down, Norv Turner, Gus Frerotte. See where it's spotted. What are we going to call? Do we throw it? No, we're going to run it. Terry Allen, stop by Mark Smith and Aeneas Williams. So Arizona holds them to a field goal, 13-10. With 1:08 to go, Kent Graham. Now, Tommy, this is prevent defense.
They had given up 95 yards passing to Graham before this drive. Then you can see how deep the DBs are sitting in their nickel package. So Kent Graham starts to eat them up underneath.
He throws to Frank Sanders, so with 8 seconds to go, fourth down, 47 yards. The Butler did it. Kevin Butler has tied the game, and as we always do at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium, we go to overtime. Cardinals get the ball first, but electric Leland McElroy is short-circuited by the rookie. Derek Smith recovers the ball, and the replay, it's rookie to rookie.
Yeah, number one choice here, Kennard Lang, a great job of ripping the ball out, causing that fumble, getting the ball for his team.
2 plays later, 2nd and 10 from the 40. Frerotte under pressure, avoids the sack to Michael Westbrook. The circus catch. He punches it into the end zone, and the fans love it. He had only 1 catch in the first 2 games, but 2 touchdowns. And here's the most revealing shot. Look at the speed. I didn't know Norv could do a 4.40. Hey, as always, the Redskins win at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. They're undefeated their lifetime, 1-0. In overtime, the Redskins beat the Cardinals 19-13. So the Cards won in overtime last Sunday night. They lose this one in overtime, 19-13. And the Redskins, you know, a 1-point loser to Pittsburgh, would be undefeated going into the bye time if they had won that game.
And biggest number as we review those numbers, other than the final score, the 2 touchdowns caught by Westbrook. Norv Turner has to be awfully happy to see him come alive.
But maybe new park, new start, as we said, and he will be a big part of this team, especially if he plays like they did today. Michael Jackson. Could the Ravens win on the road? Napoleon Kaufman almost ran right out of the state of Georgia.
Do you need cash now? Thousands of families have turned to J.G. Wentworth for money for medical expenses, business opportunities, debt consolidation, and new homes. If you're receiving periodic payments from a structured settlement or personal injury award and need cash, call now. Representatives are standing by to answer all your questions. If you're receiving structured settlement payments over a long period of time but need cash, call 1-800-603-0608.
What would you give to be more confident? What would you give for the knowledge it takes to move with certainty through every business day?
Just $3.90 a week brings you the Wall Street Journal. Our personal finance guide and decision maker software is free with your paid 10-week subscription. Call now, 800-443-7400. That's 800-443-7400 for the Wall Street Journal.
I am the cable boy. There's plenty to think about on game day. That's why technique is so important.
But he slips free. He's still loose.
I have 3 basic cabling techniques. Mini wrist for speed, handcuff elbow, and half loop turn. Are you with me? Half loop turn. Don't deny me. Half loop turn. Write them down if you have to. People think anybody can come out here and carry cable. Bring it on, Chumley.
College football on ESPN2.
Well, we had some fun on NFL Countdown this morning. Baltimore at the New York Giants, the greatest game ever played in 1958. Well, this wasn't going to be the greatest game ever played. It turned out to be exciting because maybe the Ravens, Stuart, know where they're going to the Meadowlands. They know the way.
They've already played 1 preseason game in the Meadowlands. They have 2 more games in the Meadowlands. And maybe they ought to make it their second home.
Well, they're probably going to a Springsteen concert at the Meadowlands later this year, too. I don't know.
But can Bruce play defense?
Yeah, well, if he can play for them.
Dr. Green to the ER stat. In the offseason, the Ravens performed reconstructive surgery on their defense after giving up more yards per game than any team last year. They went out, they signed Tony Siragusa to a contract. They signed AFC COSAC leader Michael McCrary to a contract. They got a bunch of rookies. But did it work? Well, after being 30th in points per game last year, this year they're 26th. All right, maybe it didn't work so much. Siragusa talking about the rookies, saying from high school to college is a big jump. From college to pros is a pole vault. Another pole vault. The Ravens have never won on the road. Facing Dave Brown and the Giants, Brown 375 yards passing in 2 games. Second quarter, Brown hooking up with Thomas Lewis. Lewis does his best Baryshnikov on the sidelines. Brown bonded with 9 different receivers on the day. Later in the drive, first and goal, Brown picked him up a little something to Charles Way. Brown 28 of 46, 269. His 28 completions a career high. Giants, second half, rookie Tiki Barber, already with a touchdown in each of his first 2 professional games, trying to represent, breaks through the line, gets stood up, fumbles, Brady scoops it up, they call the play dead. Marcher brought a ballistic, but TJ, good call or what?
Well, Stuart, I think it's a bad call because it doesn't happen in a pile in the middle of the field. This is out in the open field. This is an official with a very quick whistle, but the call didn't go that way.
Giants on the field, second goal, Tyrone Wheatley. What do you give him on the triple Lutz action?
A 9-8.
All right, nice landing. Didn't make it in, but next play, third and goal. Wheatley stays on his feet. No doubt. His 7th career touchdown, Giants up 20-14. Giants 9 times in the red zone this season. 9 scores, 8 touchdowns, 1 field goal. G-Men up 23-14 in the 4th. Vinny Testaverde under pressure all day, rocked by Michael Strahan. Vinny hurt his thumb on that play. So backup Eric Zier thought, maybe, let me warm up. Vincent stayed in and came correct. Fade to the corner. If the wideout doesn't get it, the DB won't get it. Testaverde to Simone. Michael Jackson, 44th career touchdown by Jackson. Ravens down 23-21. Same score. Brad Deluiso, nicknamed Mr. Automatic by his teammates. He was not automatic. Blows it from 41 yards. He missed 2 from 41 yards and had a point after block. The Ravens take over first play. Vinny Testaverde, you got to remember, he had a 100-yard rushing day back in 1990. He picked up 12 there. Later, hits Eric Green who rumbles down. Green had a fat day, 6 catches, 71 yards. That sets up Matt Stover, 37 yards. For the game, money. First Ravens road win in 9 attempts. Martin Broder looks like the late, great Jim Valvano looking for somebody to hug. Deluiso, I think he said shoot or rats or darn there or something. Ravens beat the Giants 24-23. Stover, the most accurate field goal kicker in the NFL. 133 of his last 165 field goals attempts. The play before his field goal, Ernest Biner got his 500th career catch in this game. Tiki Barber, the rookie for the Giants, he did get a touchdown in the game. So 3 NFL games for Tiki Barber, 3 touchdowns.
These little backs can do the job. There's a guy in Tampa that's not too bad either. And speaking of Tampa, let's see. Vinny's winning. Buck's winning.
World's askew.
World's flat. It's going back to being flat. Well, all right, Stuart, we'll see you a little bit later on. The Raiders and the Falcons. Well, 6 teams began the day 0-2. Here were 2 of them. The Raiders at Atlanta, but the plot here. is Jeff George returning to Atlanta, which, let's face it, Jeff George in Atlanta is about as welcome as General William Tecumseh Sherman. Here we go. This is last year. Jeff George, June Jones. As a result, they're both gone. The benching, the argument. Now he comes back. The chorus of boos from the crowd of 47,000 plus. Yeah, crybaby, Jeff, we hope you lose. But he had other ideas because he had Napoleon Kaufman. Look at him make the move, and he could go all the way, 61 yards.
Yeah, and look at the quickness and the strength. It's a combination of low center of gravity, makes him a very exclusive back, one of the 3 or 4 in this league.
14-10, the Falcons in the third quarter. George to James Jett, and look at him go. Jett! It's Paul McCartney in wings. 17-14, the Raiders take the lead, and then look at the play he makes. But Atlanta had some big plays coming. Byron Hanspard takes the handoff, goes to the outside, moves to the inside. Look at him go. Cut, go, all the way to the 3-yard line. And the next play, though, it's Chris Chandler. Play action to Bob's sister, Christian. Touchdown, Falcons lead 21-17. Raiders punt. Todd Heaton, the Kinchin for the Falcons. Gets nailed at the fumble. Kenny Shedd first sheds him of the ball, and then the Falcons stand around, and it's a touchdown. 24-21. Dan Reeves says, you have to be kidding me.
Well, I think Dan had a good argument. If you watch here, you see him hit the ground right there. The ball pops out the ground, cannot cause a fumble, and Dan saw it clearly.
Well, obviously a key play in the game, and Dan hot under the collar. A very scary moment for the Falcons' Ren Bolden. Watch the spot shadow. He collides with Tim Hall on a kickoff return, and Bolden remained down. Carted off, but the good news is x-rays remained negative. He was walking in the locker room after the game, even though he had a back injury, so that's good news. Bad news for the Falcons. Napoleon Kaufman outside, and 4 Falcons, none of them are going to lay a hand on him. Touchdown, 31-24. There it is. 140 yards for Napoleon Kaufman. Chris Chandler, late hit from Darrell Russell, the #1 pick. He leaves the game with a bruised sternum, doubtful for next week. Was a late hit. Fourth quarter with the score 31-24. Billy Joe Tolliver. Billy Joe tries to be a hero. Devert Emanuel fumbles but keeps it. Then Tolliver to Terrence, 12th of Never Mathis. And chances are we're tied at 31. 1st and 10, the Raiders from their own 8. Big play here. George to Ricky Dudley. Not only does he hold on, he makes the move at the 40. He's in a Falcon territory. Rumbling, bumbling, and bowling over the Falcons. 77 yards, leads to a field goal, 34-31. Now, Tom, this is Billy Joe Tom. What? It's a safety. Are you kidding?
Have to know where you are on the football field. That's the first thing you have to know as a quarterback.
36-31. Now, some Morton Anderson doesn't help. And then there's a sack by Anthony Smith. And Jeff George in a, well, he took an entire victory lap around the Georgia Dome afterwards. Jeff, let it go.
Yeah,
you won. The Raiders win 36-31. George, look at this, 12 completions for 286 yards. We told you about Kaufman's big day in that 36-31 win. And so some big numbers again for the Raiders in a wild game. So the Falcons have now lost they've lost some numbing games this year, Tommy, as, you know, they played with Detroit, and last week was low-scoring Carolina. They lose a high-scoring game to the Raiders. Look, Dan didn't expect to win that much with this team, but
Well, the thing that he used to preach to us constantly was, I can stand mistakes made that are made full speed, but it's the mental mistakes that will kill you, mistakes where you're not thinking. And I think if you look at the sequence of events, as Billy Joe Tolliver runs out of the end zone, you're down by 3. You have maybe the best field goal kicker of all time in your stable. Now you're down by 5. You come back on the field, you get the ball back, but you're looking for 5 points. You've got to get into the end zone. The defense plays you completely different. And I can tell you one thing. This is going to translate into some wind sprints on Wednesday and Thursday and maybe even Friday. I know, Dan. He'll line you up on that goal line, and you'll be doing that until you can't see.
Don't tell me he ever made you guys.
Oh, I did a couple.
I had a feeling. All right, Falcons, you know what's coming as they are now 0-3. Well, when we return, a couple of playoff perennials in the AFC, Buffalo and Kansas City at Arrowhead. And speaking of perennials, John Elway looks good in any uniform, even these.
Green Bay is a small town. When someone leaves here, it means something. It means the entire community has been diminished. It means an acquaintance, a neighbor, a friend has left your life forever. Most importantly, it means there's now some extra seats available for Sunday's game.
Well, it's awfully tough to get tickets from the Super Bowl champs. It's absolutely impossible with American Express. So bring your Visa card.
Go Packers.
The official card of the NFL.
Traditional luxury cars. The slumber, the serenity, the isolation. Hey, you're not dead yet. Presenting the supercharged Bonneville, one of the world's most powerful sports sedans. Made traditional luxury, rest in peace. Luxury with attitude. The Bonneville by Pontiac.
The season's winding down. The weather's cooler. The plays are tougher. The games are tighter. The stakes are higher. If you want to play in October, you gotta win in September. The Wednesday doubleheader, this week at 7:30 and 10:30 on ESPN.
Two teams who missed the playoffs only once each in the 90s in the AFC, the Bills and Chiefs, renewed hostilities in the Chiefs' home opener at Arrowhead. Thurman Thomas knows what it's like to play against the Chiefs, but usually he's playing against Derek Thomas. That was not the case this time, but the Chiefs do know this just in. Steve Tasker, pretty good special team player, so they have two men on him and slam him to the turf so he can't cover. Meanwhile, for Thurman Thomas, they keyed on him as well. Terry Wooden need to make the stop. Only 6 yards rushing in the first half for the Bills against the Chiefs. 9-3 at half. Stoyanovich 3, Christie 1. Now in the third quarter, oh, those tricky Bills. Thurman Thomas back to Todd Collins, who fires to Andre Reed. He's open at the 35, but he's going to get caught by Dale Carter. Oh, no, he's not so fast. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Touchdown, 77 yards, 10-9 Bills. What a play by Reed.
And Dale Carter is quick as anybody in this league. And you see Andre Reed give him the limp leg, stop, almost fall down. He had to lose him 3 times to get to the end zone. He succeeds.
But what happens? Fourth quarter after a Christie field goal makes it 13-9. Last week, Aaron Glenn ran one back for the Jets against the Bills. Usually, Bruce DeHaven's special teams are special, but Christie was the only guy that had a shot. Tamarick Vanover, touchdown. He's so good at this. 94 yards, and the Chiefs lead 16-13. Now we're tied at 16, and I dreamt I saw Greg Hill last night. 16 yards after an interception of Collins, and Kansas City's in business.
Yeah, Jeff Criswell with an outstanding job on Bruce Smith. There you see him trying to disengage and get to Hill, and just comes up a little bit short.
And then something that fans for ages wish they could see, a naked Elvis out at the 5-yard line. What would they say at Graceland? 2 plays later, Gerback to Tony Richardson. PAT block, though. So it's 22-16. The Bills can win the game with a touchdown. But Andre Reed out with heat exhaustion. Derek Thomas hoping they can hold on. It's a shaky-looking drive, yet a drive that worked. But Todd Collins completes to Lonnie Johnson, and he gets hurt, although later on he got up and walked off. But then, 4th and goal, Collins pressured. Mark McMillan makes the pick, and the Bills' drive stalls at the 7-yard line. Marv Levy used to coach the Chiefs. 72 years young, was trying to come back to Arrowhead and get a win over his old squad, but the Chiefs win it by the count of 22-16. Now, Collins' stats, 297 yards throwing, although some of the passes were very Joe Cap-ish. And it was Gerback over Collins in a battle of Michigan quarterbacks, Tommy. What about the strategy at the end?
Well, you see the numbers, but the chess match during the last couple of drives, great by the Chiefs. You're going to protect with 7, we're going to rush 8. You're going to protect with 8, we're going to rush 9. And you saw the pressure that translated to on Todd Collins.
Pressure, and then as a result of max protect, nobody out.
That's right. You only have 2 people out in the pattern.
And unfortunately, the third one was a Chief, at least if you're looking from the Bills' perspective, as we go inside the numbers. Last year and the first 3 games this year, when the Buffalo Bills sack people, and when they take the ball away, it usually translates into wins. In their 11 wins last year and this year, look at the sacks, about 4 a game and 2.5 takeaways a game. In their 9 losses, including today, not many sacks, hardly any takeaways. They did not force a turnover today, and they sacked Elvis only twice. So that plays along, and that's why the Bills lost.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the official card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. www.visa.com.
Another question in Tampa Bay, how would you like the Vikings cook? How about well done? Warwick tried to do that in the Metrodome. And could Brett Favre and the Packers shovel out from a 1-1 start?
Housekeeping. Excuse me. Checking out?
Uh-huh.
We'll change the room.
Holiday Inn hotels are undergoing a $1 billion renovation to make every Holiday Inn as good as the best Holiday Inn.
Oh, you're back. Your toothbrush.
That means we're changing a lot more than the sheets. Holiday Inn, on the way.
On September 26th, nature will push you to extremes.
He's toying with us.
But only man can push you to the edge.
Why would I want to kill you, Charles? For my wife. I've seen you with her.
Anthony Hopkins.
You want to die out here.
I don't want to hear it!
Alec Baldwin.
What one man can do, another can do! Look at me!
The Edge. Rated R. September 26th, only in theaters.
Thursday night. Quarterback Ryan Clement is the true leader for the Canes and is the trigger to one of the most explosive offenses in the country.
Miami-Pittsburgh, Thursday night at 8, only on ESPN.
Well, you saw the helmets right there. That's the first place battle of the NFC North, not the Packers. Undefeated 2-0 Minnesota, very impressive out of the gates against undefeated 2-0 Tampa Bay. I said undefeated 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Remember Dallas in those years when they never thought they could lose wearing those white uniforms? Well, now think of the new look Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where they are undefeated in those new pewter pants. Forget the Pirates of Penzance. These are the Pirates of Pewter Pants. And here we go from the Metrodome. Tony Dungy used to coach the defense for Minnesota, comes back to his old haunts, but he's looking at his quarterback, Trent Dilfer, controlled Trent Dilfer. Horace Copeland, he fumbles it, but they keep the ball. 49 yards, first and goal. 2 plays later, play action to tight end Jackie Harris. Oh, my goodness, the Bucs marching. Hit 7-3 Tampa Bay. On the ensuing kickoff, come on, Husted. Michael Husted makes the tackle. He's the kicker. Then, next Tampa Bay position, Mike Alstott. Up the middle for 8 yards. Then, Riedel Anthony, one of their rookies, end around, shows some moves. Whoop! On Dwayne Washington. It's going to go for 27 yards, first down, Buccaneers. Then, the little dump pass, and you're in good hands with Alstott. Across the 25, down across the 20-yard line. Then, Dilfer on third down to Rob Thomas, first down. Then, watch this from the 1. It's the best 1-yard run you're ever going to see. Mike Alstott. And when you're stopped at the line, he is stopped at the touchdown, 14-3 Bucs.
And Chris, that's why I think he's the premier fullback in this league. He always gets the extra yardage. As you said, this is a great 1-yard run. Bounces in, push back on the pile. Now think about that earlier replay that we saw where a whistle blew. What had if a whistle had blown here? The play would have been dead.
What a great play by Alstott. Dilfer under pressure, but look at the nimble-footed back. Throws it up to Riedel Anthony, who makes a great catch, Tom.
Well, great job of concentrating on the ball. Look at him turn, focus on the football, manages to get both feet down. That's a great play.
3rd and 4, 3 plays later, Dilfer to Copeland, first touchdown in 2 years. 21-3 Tampa Bay. The Bucs are gonna shine. Vikings trying to get back in it. Leroy Horde, just like they diagram it, right to flip to Brad Johnson to Chris Walsh for a first down. Somehow, Leroy Horde flips it back to Johnson, who had a career best today in throwing for 334 yards. But what about Tampa Bay defense?
You get the lead, you rush the pass, and here Toyoka Jackson and Regan Upshaw putting the pressure on. Then Derek Brooks with a tremendous hit. You live for this from the weak side. Bam, I'm coming free and I'm knocking you down. And then when he does get a pass off, Johnson to Carter. Usually all he does is catch touchdowns. Here he fumbles the football, and it's recovered by the Buccaneers.
John Lynch on the recovery. Jeff Gooch that stole the football made the hit. Then the delay to Warwick done. And look at the Mercurial one. Nobody's Barry Sanders. But look at him run. Look at him dart. 52-yard touchdown. 28-6, Tampa Bay. Late fourth quarter. They were thinking about redshirting Eric Rett this year. But he got in some mop-up duty. 28-14 the final. Two friends, Dennis Green, Tony Dungy, shake hands. They'll meet again at the Big Sombrero. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 3-0 for only the second time in their team history. The first time was 1979. They got everything going. Done with 101 yards. And Trent Dilfer now, Tommy, has 4 touchdowns and no interception. The last interception he threw was last December. There is only one undefeated team in the NFC. Tampa Bay. One. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The men of pewter pants.
The Pirates of pewter pants.
I think it's an easy, solid game plan. It's running the ball well with Dunn and Allstott. You follow that up with and we talked about it a little bit this morning on Countdown, the short play action pass game. And then once people start to creep up, and we will see that in the next couple of games, people start to creep up, Horace Copeland, Riedel Anthony deep. And I think that we talked this morning also about time of possession. It was a game that Minnesota wanted to speed up. Tony Dungy wanted to slow it down. He won time of possession by 6 minutes today.
25 years after the Dolphins went 17-0 in Don Shula's perfect season, the Bucs are 3-0. Offensive coordinator Mike Shula. Just thought we'd throw it in. Well, let's go inside the numbers, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year began 0-5, so it's a direct 180. They didn't even average 10 points a game last year, but this year they're scoring 22. Not great. When you get that lead and you play that sort of defense and you can run the ball like they have this year, averaging $160 a game, and you don't turn it over, well, chances are you might win more than you lose, and the Bucs have won them all. When we return, also undefeated in Florida. Everybody was undefeated in Florida going into this game. Dan Marino, could they keep it at Green Bay? And Steve Young is back. How would he do against the Saints?
Mike Ditka for 1-800-COLLECT.
Hey, come on, ladies! Hey, get mad! Make believe I just insulted your mama. Or make believe I just traded you. Make believe I just called you collect without using 1-800-COLLECT.
Hey, he could have saved us up to 44% with 1-800-COLLECT.
Whoa! Stop, guys! I was only kidding. Stop!
1-800-COLLECT. Save up to 44%.
Hey, Coach, you ready to play today? I-24. I-24. Oh, 73. Oh, 73.
This is it. This is it.
I-16. I-16.
Bingo! Bingo! I won! I got bingo!
That's real.
Logo Athletic, authentic team apparel.
Ready for the next game?
What's up? I'm thirsty. Anything else? Nope.
Did you see Rocket last night? That was classic Clemens.
Absolutely agree. You know what I liked about him? Nothing fancy, comes right at you.
Chicken, please. And then when he's got all his pitches working, you can just forget about it.
Unstoppable. I'll have the chicken too, please.
Can you just put the biscuit in the basket? Biscuit, 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 biscuit. Oh, Dan.
I thought I was over Keith.
I would have just ordered the cornbread. None of this would have happened.
I know.
Well, the Green Bay Packers are not going to go undefeated this year. The Miami Dolphins are 2-0 going into the game, but they hadn't looked unbelievably impressive as well. Favre had struggled. Certainly Dan Marino had struggled. Please, some semblance of order of these two teams before the tundra gets frozen. Well, the Miami Dolphins had never beaten the the Packers had never beaten the Dolphins. 8 tries, 0 for 8. So could Dan Marino continue that string? He's worried about another string. 3 straight games in which he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass. It's never happened. He hadn't thrown one yet this year. That was in and out of Mike Pryor's hands. Then more Packer injuries, as they've already had a boatload. Gilbert Brown, sprained knee. His knee caught in the pileup. The big guy, knee so swollen they couldn't get an immediate X-ray. Tommy, footing a problem today.
Yeah, O.J. McDuffie here running the out pattern. You see the aftermath of it. He slips. That's a completion. Then Dan Marino again down the field to McDuffie. He slips again. That would have been a touchdown. And pay close attention here on the turf. Shimura runs a pattern. You see the defender right around the numbers getting up right there. Another slip we'll talk about after the highlights.
Brett Favre escapes Trace Armstrong, and he dumps it to William Henderson, the Rain King, and he's going to be down inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Favre to Antonio Freeman, touchdown just inside the goal line, 7-6 the Pack. Well, no Gilbert Brown, and there are some holes that Miami tried to run through, Tom.
Yeah, you see right here, the area is there, but it clogs down very quickly.
But a field goal makes it 9-7 Miami. Robert Grubbs on the crossing pattern. Knee problem? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dolphins. They take him 50 yards to run up the bounce. A 47-yard pickup. Favre, though. Pass deflected by Jason Taylor in the red zone. Terrell Buckley knocks away the pass for Derek Mays. Third down. Remember the problem they had last week against Philadelphia? Again, struggling in the red zone. It's only a field goal, 10-9 Green Bay. Same score. Marino overthrows Fred Barnett. They settle for a field goal. It's 12-10 Miami. But then Dan didn't get help.
Yeah, Jarris McPhail here dropping the ball. And this was a reoccurring theme during the entire day.
16-12 Pack, and now they start to run it. Dorsey Levens had a career-high game, 121 yards. Then Favre to William Henderson, the fullback. More productive day, not that he's not productive blocking, but gets in the stat sheets with the touchdown, 23-12. Then 2 minutes to go, the drought is over. Marino to Charles Jordan first. No, let me go back. No, let me go in. It's a touchdown. First touchdown pass all year. It's a 23-18 game. They missed the two-point conversion, so still, you know the onside kick is coming. Terry Mickens is right there. Johnny on the spot for the Pack. And after 8 losses, Mike Holmgren has done something that none of the Packer coaches had done before. They've beaten the Miami Dolphins by the count of 23-18. Levens, as we mentioned, a career-high 21 carries for 121 yards. Mare, 4 field goals for Miami. Longwell had 3 field goals in the game for Green Bay after missing that crunch kick last week. I think it's easy to say, Tommy, that Green Bay, they won it, and you did start to see them wear them down at the end. But they were not impressive. As for Dan Marino, how would you handicap his day?
Well, I certainly think that Dan Marino is struggling to some extent. His completion percentage well under 50% in this game. But receivers have to help a quarterback to build his confidence, and we did not see that today. I think it's something that has to happen. And then the other thing is that when it's 3rd down and 10, as an example, you're not always going to be able to run a 10-yard pattern. Sometimes you're going to hit the receiver at 8. You're going to hit him at 7. The receiver has to break a tackle. And today what we saw was, by example, was the fact that every time a Dolphin receiver caught a ball or backside of the back, they were brought down by the very first guy that got a hold on him.
Yeah, so Dan and the die, they're 2-1, but I don't think either team is really happy sitting there at 2-1. But I'll tell you what, we did have a little statistical note to tell you about. Brett Favre, by throwing his 150th touchdown pass, he now has 151, became the 2nd fastest to ever get to that mark. The guy across the field from him today at Lambeau is the fastest by far. Marino with 62 games, but Favre got there quicker than even the great Johnny Unitas and every other quarterback that ever played the game. When we return, late games, Seattle and Indianapolis, something had to give, and fortunately for Jim Harbaugh was his offensive line. Carolina welcomed Kerry Collins back, and he goes to his money man, Wesley Walls at San Diego. A former Charger, Darian Gordon, now playing for the Broncos, who's tried to click again on all cylinders. And a recurring theme, the 49ers forcing a turnover against the Saints. Oh, my goodness. We'll be back.
This commercial is rated H for high laughter content. It contains adult language.
You're a dirty old man, you know that? And I'm gonna be one till I'm a dead old man.
And the irascible Fred Sanford on video.
These twins is waiting to meet your lips.
Sanford & Son, the collector's edition. Your first video is only $4.95 with subscription and contains 4 hilarious episodes. It includes graphic content.
Say, what does sangria mean? It means blood.
And it's partially available in Espanol.
Buenos dias, huh? And beans and disease to you.
Sanford & Son, your first 4-episode video is only $4.95 with subscription.
Oh, this is the biggest one ever had. You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey.
To get your first video of Sanford & Son, the collector's edition, for only $4.95 plus $3.59 shipping and handling, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-775-1932.
ReTV, America's keeper of classic TV.
Stephen Greenway came to Bristol to study under linguistics professor Joe Theismann.
Stephen, language is power. In Super Bowl 30...
What initially attracted Stephen to the School of Football was Professor Theismann's years of study and work in the field, from South Bend to RFK Stadium.
1-yard touchdown pass.
He was one of the last quarterbacks to use a single bar face mask, which is brilliant because he could see his environment so much better.
Watch it. Stop, Joe. Watch it. Walk it off, buddy.
Well, late games around the league, something has to give. The good news is when you're 0-2 playing at 0-2, someone's going to be happy finally.
Unless you get to kiss your sister.
Please, oh, no.
We don't want any of that. I wish I had some good news for the Colts, but to be honest, I don't. They're the youngest team in the AFC and the only team in the NFL whose offense hasn't even sniffed the end zone. You know what? I'm not even going to mention that Seattle's Warren Moon has had 5 career 300-yard passing games against the Colts. I mean, that would be like rubbing it in, and we're not here to do that. The 0-2 Seahawks, the 0-2 Colts. There's Warren, over 65,000 professional yards, NFL, CFL. He's blowing up early. Moon finds Mike Pritchard for 22 yards. Later that drive, Moon, Pritchard again, 17 yards. The first 7 plays for Seattle were pass plays. Moon completed 5 of them. The next to Chris Warren, the former 1,000-yard running back. That goes for 12. And that would set up the first Seahawk running play of the game. Nice when your first running play is from the 3-yard line. Lamar Smith off the hook. He had 12 carries, 76 yards, 7-3 Seahawks. Second drive, T.J. Moore Warren.
Well, Coach Erickson put the onus on Warren Moon to do what he can do. Here he hits Brian Blades for 12. And then watch the patience in the pocket. He doesn't show the nervous feet. He takes the time to find Chris Warren for another 17 yards. And then Moon again to Blades on the slant. Perfectly thrown ball. Doesn't even step into that ball, Stewart. Just threw it with all arm.
That would set up a Warren Moon rushing touchdown, his 22nd career NFL rushing touchdown. Colts offense just struggled. Chad Brown, Dan Saliomua rocked Jim Harbaugh's world. One of 3 first-half sacks for Seattle. When the Colts had time to throw, rookie Sean Springs decked Aaron Bailey. Springs has said before, I am not short on confidence. And then, TJ, what's up with Warren?
Warren Moon, 40 years old, doesn't run out of bounds, goes and gets the extra 7 yards.
Free says that's his longest run in 4 years. Later that drive, Moon looking for Pritchard. Looking, got him. It's all good. Warren's 400th career professional touchdown pass, 256 in the NFL, 144 in the CFL, 270 yards passing. Colts looking for their first offensive touchdown of the season? Not. Lamont Warren stuffed on 4th and goal. Lindy Infante needs a hug. Indianapolis Colts offense, 3 games, no touchdowns. Chad Brown decks Harbaugh again. The Colts offensive line allowed 8 total sacks the first 2 games. They allowed 8 sacks alone in this game. Seahawks eked by the Colts, barely 31-3. Indy, 118 total yards offense. Warren, 20 of 38. 270, a touchdown running, a touchdown passing. Jim Harbaugh, 11 of 17, 77 yards. Ouch. Panthers and Chargers for the first time ever at Qualcomm Park. Qualcomm Park, it's the Murph, come on. Stan Humphries making the start for the Chargers. First quarter, Humphries going up top to Tony Martin. Tony's got like crazy speed. His 14 touchdown catches last year tied for the NFL lead. That goes for 59 yards, and it sets up Eric Pegram. Anybody, my mother, grandmother, could have scored there. 6 yards for the touchdown. Carolina Special Teams makes huge impact. Michael Bates, a former world-class sprinter in Arizona, shows you why. Takes a seam, busted 56 yards to the 44-yard line. Then Kerry Collins does some work. Kerry, the sweet touch to his favorite target, Wesley Walls. Last week, Wesley had a career-high 7 catches. This one goes for 26 yards down to the 19-yard line. And it sets up Collins to Walls again, straight butter. Wesley Walls, 2 touchdowns this year. Wesley Walls, the only Panther to score. That was 2 at that time. You just saw 3. A little bit of premonition, we will show it to you. More Panther special teams, TJ.
Yeah, played a big role today. Ray Caruth coming, Terrell Fletcher supposed to be blocking him, doesn't get a block on him. You get the block right there.
Panthers recover, set up a field goal. Third quarter, Michael Barrow, the free agent pickup, the former Hurricane. Hey, $18.5 million's paying off, huh? That set up a field goal, 16-7 Panthers. More problems for Humphries, TJ.
Yeah, Humphries drops back the pass, starts running out of the pocket, something that he's really not used to, and just drops the ball. And then again, the swing pass right here to Fletcher. And a nice hit by the Panthers. And this is the way the Panthers win. Forcing the turnovers, good special teams.
Chargers had 4 turnovers on the day. That sets up Wesley Walls. We told you about it. Here it is. I'm feeling you, Wesley. I'm feeling you, Kerry. We're feeling you. Wesley had 3 catches on the day. Panthers up 26-7. More defense. Michael Barrow again. All he needs is Jesse Armstead and Darren Smith, and it's the Hurricanes Bermuda Triangle all over again. 7 sacks for the Panthers. They roll 26-7. Hey, the Panthers in 1997, they're 2-1. It's really not the Carolina Panthers. It's Wesley Walls and John Casey. They're the only 2 guys who've scored. Wesley's got 3 touchdowns. Casey has 8 field goals and the extra points. The only 2 guys who have even scored. Kerry Collins on the day, 17-36, a $138, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Wesley, those 3 catches I told you about, 34 yards, and Casey, 4 more field goals.
Well, they may be the only 2 guys that have scored, Stuart, but this by far and away, guys, the best performance of Carolina. You see them that win a week ago against Atlanta. Now they're going with their quarterback, it looks like. Well, the Denver Broncos have been impressive in all of their games thus far this year, that's for sure, as they won 2 divisional games, 1 at home and 1 on the road. Now they come back at a spot that they sometimes